done enough. And what we are seeing is an eye-opener. We will endeavor to implement the recommendations and or advice, and we promise that there will be a reduction in these observations, but we cannot run away from the schema of regularity in terms of reconciliation. And I forgot one thing, also streamlining activities in terms of decentralization, that is allowing officers decision space to make certain decisions like removal of people from payroll instead of waiting for the center to do that, and also the bringing to scale of electronic management information systems insofar as human resources are concerned. So we just need to implement that, and I promise that there will be a change when we come back next time. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take note. We have got 3 honorable members who are joining us virtually. As and when you want to participate, just indicate, then we'll allow you to participate. Honorable Mnyima.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, thank you for submission. Now, Chair, considering these recommendations have been done before, PS, who's not doing their job and what disciplinary action? Because I think to say we'll relook and recommendations were made, who is not reconciling, who is not checking? I think your civil service handbook should provide for discipline. If someone is not doing their job, discipline them, PS. I mean, it cannot be left to say we want to do the recommendation. Who didn't do their job?
Thank you, PS. You can proceed.
Well, the bulk stops with the controlling officer, and basically that's the only thing I can say, and that to promise that we'll do better next time, and also institute a disciplinary action wherever and whenever it's necessary. Thank you.
Thank you, PS. Let's proceed. Yes, Honorable Mkumbi.
Chair, we do understand that the backstops at the controlling officer, but there are those that are assigned to do certain functions. They must not be making principal officers be punished or be queried when you have people right from the district to national who are key in some of these things. How do you pay 3.3 million to people that resigned? We can't blame the principal officer. There are those who are supposed to be inputting data. So what do you do to such people? The next thing you hear, they have been transferred to another minister. Why would you even transfer such a person? Somebody has resigned. What do you do? You action. Now the principal officer has to come here, and the person keeps working. And well, so that's my argument. Yes, we understand the back. Everything is. You are the one to present this report, but begin to make punishment for those that are not performing. Human resource director is there, isn't it? That's your job. Help the principal officer. Chair, submit.
Thank you, Honorable Mukumbi. With honorable colleagues' position that PS comes to appear with ST so that we can tackle this issue as well, because it was recommended in our previous payroll audit report. So make progress. We will now proceed to Honorable Lumai. I'm now guiding. We proceed to clinical care and diagnostic services. And I think our first item is to do with and deliver drugs. That's how we're going to progress. The payroll issue, I think we've read submissions from the PS, and nothing much has happened. So our resolution is that we come and tackle that issue together with ST as he comes to make his submission on what the government has done on our previous recommendations, because this recommendation has not been adhered to by the ministry. So proceed, Honorable Daka.
Chairperson, okay. Controlling officer, you You have submitted that the ministry has engaged ZAMSA on the matter, and you are waiting for feedback with regards to undelivered drugs. Controlling officer, can you tell this committee when ZAMSA was first informed of the undelivered drugs? That's my first question. And the second question, how does the ministry intend to monitor the supply chain to prevent under-delivery in future, especially in remote areas where most of us members of parliament come from? I submit, Mr. Chairperson.
Honorable Miller can proceed.
Thank you very much. Still on the undelivered drugs, I wanted to find out, because the response, especially relating to Eastern Province and Western Province, the response is that the drugs were delivered, contrary to the audit findings. So, if they were delivered and they have put the appendices, why wasn't this not provided to the auditors when they were on site? Because we are talking about large appendices and justification here, but if they were delivered, the auditors were in the field. Why was this not shared with them so that they clear the query? I submit.
Honorable Mukumbi can proceed.
Thank you, Chair. In addition to what Honorable Mwira was said here, under Mchinga, PS, you are saying, I wish to inform the committee that drugs were not delivered to Kanchivia. Not delivered. We have patients. Drugs are there but not delivered. What measures were put into place so that, because I know if somebody is sick, they can't be waiting for medicines to come from Lusaka and because of the waiting list. You need to cure them, isn't it? So were there any measures that you had put in place so that at least those that are sick are attended to? Maybe from another district or something like that. How was this done? Or they're still waiting up to this particular time? Chair, I submit.
Thank you. PS, you can proceed with those questions.
So ZAMSA and clinical care, you can weigh in as appropriate, but as a general principle, in terms of drug distribution in this country, we actually use what we call a pool system. In other words, provinces, districts and facilities are supplied on the basis of what they need, and what they need is determined from their previous consumptions, that kind of thing, with these commodities. But along the way we could suffer weaknesses occasioned by just lack of availability of the drugs themselves, just a lack of adequate storage and so on and so forth. And when auditors visit, they might make those observations. So in principle, that's the way we actually supply the drugs to the lower level. In terms of the question that like Mchinga did not have the designated amounts of drugs that they needed to have at a given time, what would be the mitigation? In fact, what we do most of the time is that because a supply chain is quite dynamic, so we do what we call redistribution in order that we can fill in the gaps. And also sometimes when we say we do not have or we've not been supplied by the amount of drugs that we requested, it's not like we are completely out of stock. There is a desired level of stock, perhaps that takes us 3 months, that kind of thing, just that we take care of eventualities. But with that, maybe you can go to specific provinces, and provincial health directors can help to weigh in. Let's start with Dr. Matthew Ngambi, Eastern Province.
Thank you. If I heard correctly, there was also an issue of a question on ZAMSA, because we see ZAMSA was 10 province and will come to ZAMSA. Please take a seat. Honorable Ma, you come, let him first explain, let him answer the 3 questions.
Again, Chairperson, thank you very much for the opportunity. I think for me the question is quite specific on these and delivered commodities. I think I wouldn't be correct, Chairperson, to say that we will always receive commodities as and when we have ordered them. This finding does happen, but specifically for commodities under question, the auditor's findings are correct. The commodities have since been delivered to the province. I think that the process itself, the audit, is that moved us to, in addition to other administrative duties we did, to request ZAMSA to support us with the said delivery. It will appear in the audit query, honorable members, because the delivery has happened at the time that the audit has already happened. Thank you, Chairperson.
Yes, there were 3 questions. I think 4 questions.
Western Province, maybe?
Can we proceed to ZAMSA? I think we've, then we'll get back to these provinces. We've sampled 1. Let's get to ZAMSA, because there's that you notified ZAMSA. I think there was a question from Honorable Daka. If it was not taken, I can ask him to rephrase. Or yeah, okay, can proceed.
Honorable Chair, if it could be rephrased, I've invited, with your indulgence, the Director responsible for warehousing and distribution. I've been fairly short in the office, but she's well aware of the current the audit query, and I think she's in a strong position to give you detailed responses.
Thank you. Honorable Daka, rephrase the question.
Thank you, Chairperson. The question is, we as a committee would want to know when ZAMSA was informed about the undelivered drugs, and 2, we want to know what monitoring mechanism does the ministry have with regards to, especially for those drugs that have been supplied to the remote areas like most of our constituencies. We want to know how do they monitor the supply chain. I submit, Chairperson.
Thank you. Through the PS, I don't know if Director ZAMSA can proceed or delegate the question to the person who needs to answer the question.
So before she answers the question, the general picture is that the ministry and including cooperating partners have an oversight over what is happening in the management of the supply chain, from procurement planning, procurement itself, distribution, and so on and so forth. In fact, there is a robust electronic logistic information system that allows a lot of visibility along the way, that kind of thing. Of course, there are a couple of issues, like in smaller facilities, just because people are understaffed, sometimes they do not enter information into the system, and therefore there are distortions. But to a large extent, there is that overview among stakeholders in terms of the visibility of the supply chain. But with that, take it over.
Thank you. ZAMSA, you can proceed. Introduce yourself. And
good morning, colleagues. My name is Mpande Mkumbwa Mwenechanya, Director Warehousing and Distributor from ZAMSA. Sorry, I mentioned colleagues, sorry. Sorry, I apologize for that.
You can rephrase or you can withdraw that word, colleagues.
Yes, please. I apologize for this. No, I'm fine, thank you. I'm fine.
Thank you. You can proceed.
Yes, Honorable Chair, I apologize for that. But just to echo what the PS has submitted, indeed we have oversight monitoring in terms of the supply chain, what we are actually distributing, but also what the facilities are using. But just to mention that yes, ZAMSA was notified on these deliveries. When we supply, we actually supply with a proof of delivery. So currently we are being supported because our proof of delivery, mostly it's a paper form. And for sure that's why even when the auditors mentioned that they could not find this paper form in some of these facilities and could not verify that. But through ZAMSA, when we were notified, we also checked because a copy is left at facilities and also comes back. So we did verify that and sent that back to them for that evidence. But going forward, to strengthen that, we are working with the partners as mentioned by PS and also with the ministry to actually have an electronic proof of delivery, so that once that is done, we have evidence that this was delivered and the facility have signed accordingly. I submit, Chair. Thank you.
Honorable Daka.
Chair, the question that the committee has posed is quite logical. The committee would want to know at what point you are informed about the undelivered drugs, so that we check how quickly you responded to what was reported to you. We want to check your efficiency here. So we want to know at what point were you informed about the undelivered drug and at what point did you act, so that we try and check how efficient ZAMSA is. Yeah. That's what we want to know.
Thank you. Can mute those. Thank you. Through the PS, I think there's a follow-up question. It's a timeline. So we want you to submit when you were informed, how long it took, so that Honorable Dak, I think, has put the question in plain black and white. It's issues of your lead time when there is an issue or a query, and how you react as ZAMSA, because we also want to know your system, what kind of system you have. So you can proceed, Madam, and answer that question.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you very much for that question. Yes, so for these queries, because they were coming at different point in time, but specific to this, when we were notified that there are some PODs that were still querying, I think it was sometime in June. So we actually, within a week and 2 weeks, I would give it a timeline of within 2 weeks, we were able to address the concerns that were coming from these facilities, and also once we were made aware. I submit, Chair.
Honorable Wamnima and Honorable Mukumbi can proceed.
Chair, I'm not getting any answer from when. We want to when. Can you answer when? That's the question.
Thank you, Honorable Mukumbi.
In addition, Chair, the question is very specific. And we have a report before us from the controlling office. As of 31st August 2024, nothing was delivered. So you are telling us you received the queries in June or July, and within 2, 3, 4 days you supplied. And by that time, in August, nothing was done. There was a colleague of ours who sat there as well, just to borrow your term, colleague who sat there. He was also saying we reacted and drugs have been supplied to Kanchivia, to Rafushimanda, and the other place. If we asked for those delivery notes, would you provide them? Or evidence that you truly supplied before that, would you be able to give us such information? Chair, I submit. And the PS Chair on top of that, the PS is saying they are still waiting for a response. In his response, that's what the PS is saying. They are still waiting for response from ZAMSA. And ZAMSA is saying we delivered. So is that confusion? We have a report before us. Chair, I submit.
Thank you. Yes. Why people want to know the timeline? Let me maybe just quickly try and rephrase it. Yes, you are dealing with different essential drugs. Expiry period is different from the time they're shipped to the time they're here, the time they reach ZAMSA, the time they're delivered or distributed around the country. So that's why we want to evaluate and see the lead time when there's an issue and when ZAMSA reacts. So, Madam, that is what the members are asking for. You are in charge of distribution, isn't it? Yes. So if you are in charge of distribution, there was that issue which came up. You were informed. How long did it take you to react to ensure that these drugs reach our people? I think that's a question which Honorable Taka and also Honorable Amnyima and Honorable Mukumbi are emphasizing.
Just to put it into perspective, if ZAMSA, I'm speaking to you, if there is a query in terms of non-delivery or late delivery, what the honorables are trying to find out is that what is your standard operating procedure in terms of the time it takes for you to attend to that. And given what happened, for where you have records, because sometimes you might not have records, for where you have records, can you demonstrate how long it took for you to respond to that? Thank you.
You can proceed.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you very much, PS. So I'm looking at the evidence with regards to the same queries here. And as